So on that last pass, my worst fear came. Can you guys even see me over this big log? I'm over here. I'm over here. There I am. Welcome back to the sawmill, friends. The first thing on the agenda today is ted the hay, and we got ourselves a new tedder this year. Let me show it to you. All right, guys, I briefly showed this in a previous video whenever I purchased it. I got this at Oneida Equipment. That's my TYM dealer. They're down near, they're in Knoxville now and Oneida, Tennessee. Really good guys. Paid full price for this tedder. It was right at $8,000. It's made by Bush Hog, and the span is 18 feet. If you guys remember last year on my previous haymaking videos, the tedder that I had was only 6 feet long. So this one is almost 3 times as wide as that one. That should greatly reduce the amount of time it takes to fluff up the hay today. And what this machine does pretty much, and I'm no hay expert by no means, this stirs up the hay and kind of brings it up off the ground and lets it dry, or helps it dry. That sounds a lot better. A whole lot faster. As far as how this thing works, of course you have 2 cylinders right there on each side that we can fold it down, and you can take this on the roadway for going to different fields, not hitting no cars or nothing like that. This rope right here goes to these latches, so when you're ready to lower your arms down, you pull on the rope, it lets that latch off, and that's how it lowers to the ground. It has 3 cylinders actually. It has one on both of these arms and a third one, kind of hard to see right there, and that sets the tilt of the teeth. You want these about 1 inch off the ground. You do not want these to hit the ground. They'll break pretty fast if you do that. So you set that about 1 inch off the ground, and you pretty much just drive back and forth until you fluff up your entire field. Fluff up the entire field. That sounded good, didn't it? Fluff up the whole field. I guess that's what you call it. Maybe one of you hay guys will let me know down in the comments if there's a better terminology for that. I'm learning stuff from you guys every day. So I think we're ready to roll. I got the 3 lines hooked up, got the PTO shaft. Look over the oil on the floor. These AG couplers on tractors and attachments are famous for leaking out when you make the connection. Flat face couplers are a whole lot better in my opinion, but they're pretty expensive. So I think we're ready to go, but we need to do one thing. I'm seeing some grease fitting stickers right there for some grease zerts, and I'm not sure if this was greased at the factory or the dealer, so we better shoot some in there real fast just to make sure. Grab our grease gun real fast, and guys, look over me here. I have a DeWalt case for a DeWalt grease gun, and guess what's in it? A Milwaukee grease gun. My DeWalt one died the other day. I'm not sure what happened to it, so I had to replace it with a red one. So in a previous video, I think it was the last one I posted, somebody said down in the comments, I can't remember what his name was, that's not real important, we'll call him the keyboard commando of the day. He said, you wear gloves all the time, I'm paraphrasing here. Do you wear them in your sleep, and are you afraid of getting dirty? I do wear gloves a lot of the time. I'm not afraid of getting dirty. I don't wear them in my sleep, but the main reason I wear them more than I probably need to is to keep my cameras clean. I'm moving these cameras around all day long. I'm adjusting the lens on them, hitting record, etc., etc. If I got grease on my hands, it gets all over the camera, and therefore you guys don't get a really good video with just grease all over the screen the whole time. So there you go, keyboard commando. I'm not afraid of getting dirty. It's actually for you. I'm doing this for you, Mr. Commando. Thank me later. I did a little test run off camera, and the teeth are way too close to the ground. They're actually rubbing just a little. We'll get those up about an inch or so. All right, friends, I got about half the farm done. I still need to go on the other side of the creek and do that large field over there. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but if you're curious why the tractor's sitting there running and it sounds like an airplane, I'll explain. So on that last pass, my worst fear came, and that was the regent beep on that tractor. It has 120 hours on it, and it's never regent before because I usually run it pretty hot, and I'm surprised it did it today. But that's the way it goes. It's got to sit there and park for about 20 minutes at max RPMs and burn off all the soot on the DPF filter. And I think I'm saying the right terminology right there. I've done so much research on these regen systems here. I've read a lot about them. I get confused sometimes. So right now we're at a standstill, and I think it just finished. I just heard a little pop. All right, guys, the regent is over, and now we can finish up our tedding for the day and get this field done. This right here is about 3 acres or so, maybe 4, something like that. Shouldn't take too long. These rows here are pretty darn straight. And if you're wondering why we didn't cut that, you probably didn't see the last video. It's real wet down in here and really wet on the far corner. We'll probably cut this and the 5 acres over there where the cows are going below the cemetery sometime by the end of June, maybe the 1st of July. It's got to dry up just a little. It is sopping wet right down in there. If I tried to cut this, I would leave ruts and probably get stuck, more than likely. So let's finish up this tedding, and I'll see you guys back here in just a minute. You guys hang in there. don't know if you guys could tell, but I had a hard time turning this log because this bark just kept on ripping off of it. Friends, this is poplar, and I forgot my measuring tape. I need to run up to the shop and get it. But anyways, this is the large end. We'll measure it here in just a second when I get my tape. See all this color right here? Usually somebody would see this and they would think metal. And I could be totally wrong today, and there might be a bunch of metal in here, but based on what I know about poplar and all this coloration right here, this should be rainbow poplar. Key word is should. We may hit 20 nails in the first pass, you never know, but I think it's gonna be rainbow. It never fails, I'm always forgetting something. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. All right, friends, this log is just over 10 feet tall. This is the small end. The diameter is 28 inches on the small end. That's a good sized log right there because there's a lot of taper in it. Down here on the large end, kind of hard to tell because we have the back cut over here when they felled the tree. It's showing about 32 inches, but it does flare out quite a bit right there on the top. So once we get rid of this and the taper, it should work down to right at 28 inches, which is what the small end is showing. Keyword is should. And guys, I know what you're thinking, but this is not poison ivy. This poplar tree was covered in English ivy, and it doesn't bother me. I know some people say it makes them itch a little, but if this was poison ivy, it would have been on me a long time ago. I can look at that poison ivy stuff and it just jumps on me. It never fails. This right here is English ivy. Doesn't bother me, and once we peel this bark back, it will go straight to the burn pile. But it does look pretty nasty on there. All right, guys, we're not gonna finish this log today. I have a, can you guys even see me over this big log? I'm over here, there I am. So anyways, I'm not sure we're gonna finish this one up or not. I gotta be somewhere in about 90 minutes, actually in an hour and 15 minutes. Bruno's got plans for me tonight, and that's okay because that's a good way to spend the evening. But we will at least open this one up on 2 or 3 faces and hopefully see the rainbow. And there's no metal in this log. Keyword is hope. Shouldn't be any metal. On the Sawmill, we got a Joe Maine Silver Tip Turbo 7. If you want to try those blades out, call Joe Maine. His cell phone number is way down there in the video description. Let's get started, guys. I'm not sure if this blade will even cut very well, be honest with you. I may need to change it. We'll find out on the first cut. All right, friends, good news and bad news. The good news is no metal in that log, and the bad news is there is some rainbow color. Let me do around this board. These are pretty long here. You can see those streaks right there. That's kind of a purple blue color. Not sure if the camera will pick that up. But we do have some rainbow going on, which is what I thought. It's just not really prevalent as I was hoping it would be. Like I said, these are 10 footers, and as I stand up the board right there, if you go up about 5 feet, that rainbow color goes away. And I didn't see it on the small end of the log, so I was pretty sure we wouldn't see it the full length of the board, but I was hoping to get, a little bit more than that. That's better than nothing, but I really like it when that blue and that purple color just take over, and that's all you see on the face of these poplar boards. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are nice and clear, no knots, but I was hoping for better, but at least there was no nails in it. And I didn't mention this earlier, these boards will be made into shiplap, and that's what will be going on these walls right here behind me at a later date, probably around mid-July. So it looks like we'll probably have to finish up this log tomorrow. These will be edged down on the edger to right at 9 inches. I'll keep that rainbow right there on the side. See if I get my measuring tape without dropping this camera. So right now, they're actually, they're 13 inches wide. A little bit of wane right there. Man, I really hate to lose that for shiplap. I don't know. These right here, since they're nice and clear, I may mark them and use them for something else. Those are really nice right there. All right, friends, I think I'm done for the day. I gotta head up to the house and get ready, but I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. We'll finish up this poplar, like I said, and we may have to ted that hay one more time. We'll see how dry it is tomorrow. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you back here in the next video.